Hey guys, welcome back to Coding Adda. Myself Aditya, and in this video, we are going to understand what are self-hosted runners and how we can use a self-hosted runner using Docker and how we can trigger a GitHub Actions on GitHub. So without any further delay, let's get into the computer screen and let's start with the video. So what is a self-hosted runner? A self-hosted runner is your own machine acting as a computer that runs GitHub jobs or actions. Instead of installing software directly on your computer, will be using Docker here, which runs everything in a safe, isolated container. Much cleaner. Before you get started, we have to install Docker Desktop and Git on our machine. Make sure you have Docker Desktops installed. So I'll just go to here Docker install, and we will have to install Docker Desktop for your application. If you are using Windows, you can go for Windows. If you are using Mac, go for Mac. I already have it installed. Okay. These are the step-by-step process we'll be going with. First is to set up a GitHub personal access token. Okay. Let me do one thing before we move here is I'll fill and arrange everything over here. So it is just side by side. Okay. So click on your profile picture. Okay. Here I clicked on my profile picture. Go into settings. Then click on developer settings, bottom left side. Then click on personal access tokens, and then tokens classic, and we'll have to generate a new token. The reason we are generating a new token is because we are using Docker, which is a third party application. We want to have a token which will help to communicate between GitHub and Docker. So we'll create a new token, and is this a new token that I want to give? I'll create a new classic token and I'll give the name as self hosted or not hosted runner, and I'll keep the expiration as 90 days. And what are the scopes that I want is the repository scope and workflow scope. Repository and workflow scope. Now, what are scopes over here? It will help to give full control over the private repositories, access commit status, deployment, public repositories, and also update GitHub action workflows. Okay. And then I'll just generate a token. Okay. I'll just copy this as of now. And then what we'll do is I'll just go to terminal. I'll have a terminal over here and then increase this here. Go to desktop dev GitHub action series ls, and I'll just say mkdir my runner cd my runner. Okay, I created a folder, and then there are 3 files that we will be needing here. So I'll just for now create a file called docker file, touch docker file, touch start dot sh, and then touch docker compose.yml. Okay, next we will be creating an env file. Okay, your secrets, we will be having a same folder. We'll create a file called with the name .env, and then I'll just say vi.env. Don't worry, you can directly go into that folder and then create it with the UI, but I'm just going with the Linux commands here. And then what we'll be having is insert GitHub token equal to the GitHub token that I have, and then repo URL here. Then what I'll do is I'll go here and go into my repository and then paste the repo URL over here. Okay. And then build and start the runner. First save this, and then what I'll do is I'll go into this particular file and then see what is the Docker file about, and then I'll just say vi docker file. This is basically an extension that will help us to run this particular action directly from the Docker, and it is one of the easiest ways to run the Docker. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this, okay, and then paste it over here. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to remove these values. Okay, give me a minute. I'll just take a small minute and remove the comments that are present here. Okay, and then I'll help you understand what is exactly going over here. Okay, now that I've removed all the comments over here, what exactly is this particular Docker file helping us to do? Here it is installing all the basic commands like curl, git, jq, sudo, unzip, cs certificates, and then inside the variable and lib directory, it is removing all the files under list folder. Okay, next is to install the Node.js version 20. using curl command. It is using the curl command to install the Node.js version, and then create a safe non-root user called runner. Okay, because we will be trying to run this particular runner using the non-root user called runner. Then the next step is to download the GitHub Actions runner app in the working dir /home/runner. What we are doing here is we are installing that thing. It will be a tar.gz file. We can remove this particular file from here and then install the dependencies using the shell script that will be present here. Next is to copy a startup script into the container. Copy the start.sh into this particular container, give it the right access, and then switch to the user runner. And then when the container starts, run start.sh. Okay, that's good. Next is to create a file with the name vi start.sh, or let me do one thing. I'll go here /bin/e and copy this vi start.sh and paste it here. I'll have to again remove all these things from here. Don't worry, give me some time. So now the next step is to have a start.sh shell script. First, it will be checking for the required variables that are present, the GitHub token that we have stored in .env. And then it will try to print the runner name, getting the registration token from GitHub. After it got the GitHub registration token, it is configuring the registering the runner with GitHub and auto deregistering when you stop the container. Okay. So this is the second script that we have. And then the third thing, which is docker compose.yaml, is which will help to run the services here. Okay. So I'll just copy this, paste it here, and just remove the comments right from here. Okay. So inside the services, what we have is a runner which will perform the build task in that particular folder. The image will be of the name my GitHub runner. env file will be .env, which will help to read the GitHub token and repo URL from the env. The environment would be runner name as my Docker runner. Labels would be self-hosted, Docker and Linux, and it will restart unless stopped. Auto restart if it crashes. Okay. And I'll just do this, and also we'll have to create a git ignore file, git ignore, which will have .env file present, because we will not be pushing the .env files into a repository. As we said, never push .env into GitHub, add it to git ignore. Okay. So we will come here again. Okay. And what we'll be doing here is we will have the Docker app starting to run. It is asking for password. Okay. Usually there is a problem when you're using Mac that if you are running any application, it will ask you for a password. Don't worry, you just give it the password here. One thing is to be signed in here. What I'll do is I'll sign in with Google. I'll use the Let's Talk Aditya's account, my developer account that I have. I'll create a username as UAdi29. Okay, sign up 2911. Okay, it is asking for a mail. Now that I have that thing verified, you can see I have signed in here. Okay, so what I have to do is next I have to go into the terminal. Since I have this Docker desktop running now, what I'll do is I have my terminal over here. What I'll say, docker compose up --build. Okay, so you can now see, you can now delegate builds for a big better performance. It is building everything. It is taking up the runner from docker.io, running apt get update and apt install. It is installing some of the necessary packages that are needed here. Okay. And after that, after the things are done, you will see something like got registration token, runner is configured, runner is online, waiting for jobs. And how do we see if it is connected to GitHub? Go to the GitHub repo. Okay, till then we'll do one thing. We'll go to the GitHub repo, go into the settings, actions, and then runners. Once the repository is connected, once it is connected to the GitHub, we'll be able to see the runner status idle. Okay, so I'll just go here and check. It's still downloading. Now it has installed all the runners. It is exporting to the image, exporting the different kind of layers that are present here. Obviously, it takes some time because whenever you are having Docker onto your machine, it creates its own environment. It will download everything into the environment, and then unpacking the library Docker my GitHub runner latest. And you can see here, runner is built, network is created, got registration key from GitHub, got the registration token, and then config.sh field. Okay, there is some issue that we are facing. Okay, exited with code 133. I think it is running fine now. Let me just refresh this to check. Trying to config it, but it is due to some reason it is trying to fail. So I can try to wave it in Docker desktop here. Okay. What is the issue? Registration runner with GitHub, not a dynamic executable. Failed to open ELF at this. Okay. Now since we are on VS Code, we'll just open a chat and we'll say getting this error when setting up Docker for custom runner on GitHub. It's working to see what is the issue right now over here. The reason here it found out was since I'm using a Mac OS, there was some issue like it was trying to pick up a Linux machine and it should be an ARM machine. This is what I think GitHub has given me, GitHub Copilot. I stopped the server. Let me try to build it up again. Now that we have everything sorted, it went into getting registration from GitHub, got the registration token, registering the number. You can see runner is online, waiting for GitHub jobs. Okay. Now after we built it, if we refresh this, we can see that it is currently in the idle state. Okay. Now let us check one thing. What we'll be doing now is we added this particular line in our runners.yml file, which was the earlier file. Like this is a reference to the self-hosted runner to get what is the machine name, host name, and the user to access the private network. And here, after this, after the things that we have done, where were we? Yeah, the next step is to use it in a flow. Whenever you are using a flow, instead of using Ubuntu latest, you can just write it here as self-hosted. This is what the label is. Here you can see the label here. If you want to look out for different labels, you can write it in an array: self-hosted, comma, Linux, comma, ARM64, comma, Docker. Okay, and to stop the runner, directly go into the terminal and stop it. Okay, now this is the GitHub action that we have here to use my self-hosted runner, trigger manually, obviously, and also to trigger it when the changes are posted into main. I will not have main, I'll just remove this. I don't want to trigger it every time when I'm pushing it. So the next step is to have the job runs on my machine, runs on self-hosted Docker runner, which is running on self-hosted. And next thing is to check out the code. Meaning whenever there is a check-in that is happening, whenever you are committing a code, it will take the clone of that code into this runner. Right? Okay. And the next step is to prove this is my own machine, running on my own machine with the host name, who am I, and the OS. Also to show the Node.js version, which is what we have installed in the Docker file, and to just run a simple test. Your code is now running on the computer. Okay, that's good. Let us first check before moving to see if the GitHub action or .gitignore has env or not. Okay, that's really good to go. So I'll say git status first to check. Okay, git add, git commit -m, testing the self-hosted, or not, I'll just say not testing, self-hosted runner using Docker. Okay, git push origin master. I'll go on to the actions and I'll also have the terminal over here. Okay, current runner version is this, it is listening for jobs. Okay, next thing that we have here is use my self-hosted runner and I'll run the workflow. Okay, run on self-hosted Docker runner. Here you can see we also have the job saying that run on self-hosted Docker runner. First, checking out the code, syncing the repository, getting the Git version, okay, adding the repository to the temporary Git global repository, setting up auth, doing everything. And here you can see the run was successful, okay, as a result. Here we are proving like, okay, this is my own machine, the host name is this, the runner is this, okay. Then checking the node version that we installed on the Docker container. Then to run a simple test like, okay, your code is now running on the computer. The post checkout code is temporarily overriding the home before making global config changes and adding repository directory to the temporary git global config as a safe directory. After that is done, we are saying, okay, the job is complete. So here you can see that it ran on a self-hosted Docker runner and the result was completed. Okay, let us go again to our runners, actions, runners, and see here like, okay, there are no running jobs currently because already the job that was running that got completed. So in this video, we understood what is a self-hosted runner and we actually created a self-hosted runner using Docker. I hope you guys understood how we can create a self-hosted runner and how we can, customize the way the GitHub actions are performed. In the next video, we will try to set up a complete CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions. Okay. And yeah, this was it for the video. If you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next one. Until then, bye bye.